Welcome to the We Got You Mama Summit. Today we are chatting with the beautiful and wonderful Lauren Tetenbaum. And she is a New York-based mom, psychotherapist, writer, former lawyer. And if you just look at her bio, the amount of things she's accomplished, and she's like clearly like only 19 years old. Like, look at her. Is phenomenal. She provides therapy and facilitates a lot of different support groups. She contributes thought leadership on topics including mental health, which we've been talking a lot about in this summit, and also regarding working parenthood, how to navigate that, gender equity, and many more things. So thank you for joining us. You help women into this transition, and it's hard. Like, that's your full-time job, is like helping women in this transition, because it can be, yes, life-changing, yes, beautiful. And we've touched on all that. Like, you don't want to scare mothers into going, future moms into going into this, but like, let's just prepare them and empower them instead of like scare them that like it's gonna be a rough go, because anything that's challenging is going to be a rough go at some point, right? And anything worth it is definitely also going to be a little bit messy. And I want to talk to you about, in your experience, what you've seen, this common theme regarding motherhood and your clients. Like, what is the thing that is like coming up all the time and that you're helping these mothers work through?
Sure. And thank you for that lovely introduction. I'm not 19.
I know. To clarify, she's not a
But
teenager.
I'll take it. I'll take it. And I'm glad I'm not 19, which actually speaks to the
100%.
today, which is identity, because our identities shift, so much, rightfully so. I am not who I was when I was 19. I am not who I was before I became a mom. And it hasn't always been easy and smooth, but the identity that I feel I have now is an authentic one. And that is something that I work with my clients on achieving as well. And it's really hard, as you said, to become a mom sometimes. It doesn't mean that it's bad or it should be avoided. But like you said, we should normalize it, right? We should normalize the challenges that so many women face upon this major life transition. This matrescence is a word that we see a lot now. It's not only the child is born, but also the mother, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's shifting a little bit, but still that gap is so massive, right? And just finding all these areas in which we can just do this. So, the hope is like for future generations that they're not going to like face this massive gap and have to like keep working to close it. And then how does that affect mental health? I've said time and time again, as someone who's, struggled with depression and anxiety most of my life, I wondered what it was going to be like, venturing into motherhood and how that would affect my mental health, and that shift, that massive shift as you bring these tiny, helpless little babies into the world. And I found myself navigating it better than I thought I would. But what do you see most commonly of this within this identity shift, and how are moms kind of handling this, also in this like post-pandemic world? And, we hear a lot about like the modern mom and the challenges like that they're facing, and, with everything that's going on in the world and that heaviness of that. What's our mental health looking like these days?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for sharing your experience and your own journey. And I can relate. And I think that I know that a lot of women can relate to this fear of increased mental health challenges upon becoming a mother. Whether you're the birthing person or not, it's a tremendous biopsychosocial shift. And if you add in the hormones and the
Yeah.
breastfeeding hormones, stopping, starting, all of the things, it can really affect our mental health when we become mothers. Studies show that up to 1 in 5 women experience a perinatal mood and anxiety disorder. So that covers postpartum depression, but also the prepartum stuff,
Yeah.
OCD, trauma, anxiety, etc. And this is not to say that motherhood is automatically bad for your mental health. I want to make that clear.
Right.
But it can impact it, right? And if we don't have support, if we don't have the self-awareness of, well, I am prone to anxiety and depression, so maybe I should surround myself with a support team, including a therapist, including an understanding OBGYN, maybe a
Yeah.
doula, maybe friends that I can be open with, whatever it is. When we have that awareness, when our identity does shift, as it certainly will, we are empowered and we can take better care of ourselves and in turn these new little babies. So I would say that certainly our identity shifts and sort of this new me. Who am I? Who decided I'm capable of becoming a mom? Who was I before? I don't even remember that girl, right? Those are big shifts and that can come with a lot of mental health struggles, but it doesn't mean that hope and help is unavailable.
And what's some of the advice you have for either preparing for that shift or once you're in it,
Mhm.
how to navigate that and go easy on yourself? And people are like, here's the hard truth. You got to just forget who you were. And it's like, I mean, there's ways to always be who you are and do the things that you love, right? And stay true to you. And I think adding the role as mother is just another thing you're adding to your life. It doesn't mean you have to like 100% let go of all the things. If those things are
Adding to
healthy,
it.
good, and are adding to the like the goodness, of you. Like if there's some other stuff going on that maybe you should let go of, that are unhealthy, then I think that could be a good reason to do so, coming into motherhood. But what do you say to the mom kind of, gearing up for that shift, that change, and what are some things that she could do, or even mantras or stuff they say themselves, or what is your advice surrounding that?
So I would say the first thing is to remind yourself that everything is temporary.
Yeah.
For me personally, I used to really love traveling and being adventurous and exploring the world. And I became a mom pre-COVID, but certainly COVID exacerbated this idea that I wasn't, traveling as much as I used to before motherhood.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to you, like I wasn't like a friend of mine who took her 3-month-old to Japan for 3 weeks, which I think is awesome and
Yeah.
it's certainly possible, but I didn't do that. But
Yeah.
now my kids are a little older and we're back to a lot of wonderful travel that I am experiencing, through their eyes and through my own as a different version of me. So
Right.
all that is to say, it's nothing is permanent. It doesn't need to shift. You don't need to give up, your passions, your hobbies, your interests just because you're in this new chapter. So be prepared for, a lot less time, a lot less sleep, but everything is temporary.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like you kind of prepare for that just with everything, your mind biologically, like your body kind of knows what to do, will kind of prepare to a certain extent, right? To kind of do all the things. And we talk about that, in other segments when it just comes to, what our brains and bodies are doing. They grew this life, which is like the amount that goes into that is just phenomenal, right? And then they come and you bumble along, but like figure it out, and you can get back to that gut feeling. And if there are those things that are your gut's telling you you should really get back to this, it could maybe help you in this journey as well. And some of those little things of getting back to you, I think can make, a huge difference. Whether that
Absolutely.
slowly and surely getting back to exercise, or like I'm going to sit down and paint something because that's what I did all the time and now I don't anymore. Like we can find time to do that, and then it's cool to see your little ones witness you doing things that you love. Like I can't even remember what it was that I went to play volleyball or something, and my kids were like, you play volleyball? And I was like, yeah, yeah. Like I was like varsity in high school, and they were like, oh, and I was like, oh, I really love doing this, and it can bring that sort of I don't know, this sort of release of, kind of navigating that and finding yourself again.
For sure.
Um, what would you say to, kind of instilling that level of support? Let's say someone's kind of worried about some of the mental challenges ahead. Do you say, and they're like, well, I feel fine now. Maybe I'll just, find a therapist or find someone when I'm in the throes of it. And what do you recommend around that? Because I think you don't know until you know, but if you think you might, I think it's good to have some stuff set up beforehand. Not that there isn't help out there when you are in the throes, right? But what is that process for someone who's like, okay, well, who do I even talk to? I'm fine now, but maybe I won't be.
Mhm.
What is your advice around that?
Sure. So I think definitely setting yourself up for success includes kind of creating a team of support, right? A support network, a village, however you want to call it. And that may or may not include a mental health professional. As a therapist, I am certainly often called when people are at their worst, right? They're maybe in
Yeah.
crisis, they're really low, they're feeling very teary, but I'm also often called when they're just experiencing this major change and they're like, I think I need a little bit of guidance and a sounding board. And I do think that motherhood, becoming a mom, whether it's your first time or your fifth kid, we know it's a major transition. And so I think that additional support and that time and space for yourself is hugely valuable. And I also think that asking the other people in your life for help, for time. Hey, you know what? I'm off duty tonight. I'm going to play tennis with girlfriends and then we're going out for dinner. You're doing bedtime to your partner or taking a trip with your partner and leaving the kids with grandparents or neighbors or whomever, right? Don't be afraid to ask for help. I know it's hard for a lot of people, women especially, because they don't want to impose, but I am cheering you on to make the ask and to get what you need that makes you feel good.
Yeah. You head up a lot of these groups and you facilitate a lot of these different groups and you've done, so much within so many different fields as well. When it comes to like venturing out and finding that, that mommy and me group or that support group or that breastfeeding group that the hospital puts on or what have you, what's your advice around that? I found that like I had a friend that was all about it. She's like, oh man, you go and you realize that everyone else is also in the trenches and someone else is having, the worst time ever. And they walk out of that group session like building, just better than when they came. Um, or they find that I had another friend that found that I was doing okay, right? Like, and then everyone else was like on a whole different level of like all horrible disease and the things with the breasts
Um,
and the mastitis and she's like, and everything was so much worse. And I felt bad even like saying that it hurts, And so how would you help a mom kind of navigate that world of like, go find a support group? And if the one that you go to isn't great, like just keep trying because I attempted one and I was like, I don't know if these are my people. Like I feel a little, and I was super
mhm.
young mom. Maybe that was it too. But um, I think they're really important.
I think so too. And as I have gotten farther along in my motherhood journey, I've realized that, people come into your life and add value to your life in so many different ways. And maybe the people at the moms group aren't going to be your best friends forever and, lifelong friends. But you can probably find someone in there to text during your 3 a.m. feeding, like, oh, does this poop look normal to you? Or should I call the doctor? Right.
Right.
Or I just watched the show. Let's laugh about it. I think you would like it.
Right.
And there's something really beautiful about that, right? You don't need to find your soulmates in these mom groups, but some form of connection, community, and frankly, childcare too, because the people who have similar ages, kids as yours, and live in your neighborhood, et cetera, will be your lifeline for you and your kids. And we certainly, learned that during COVID. And It's just don't put so much pressure on yourself with finding your people and in general. And I know that's easier said than done, but I do encourage you to keep that in mind. Your village is out there, whether it's a virtual village and you're connecting with people on Facebook groups, on platforms like this one. Most of the groups that I facilitate are virtual, and a lot of them are in the same metropolitan areas, and some of them are not. And it's really amazing how there's this universal experience, right, of motherhood, of caregiving, of the struggles that we face, and we might come at it from different backgrounds and experiences, but I think that the support that everyone shows is genuine and should continue to be built upon.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If you don't feel like heading outside, or maybe you're in the throes of postpartum depression or something, you have access to do something like this, whether it's even to talk to a professional or join a little mommy group, or, I hope to be able to um, offer more of this kind of face to face, and let's talk to some experts and let's get some questions answered. And then also, like, oh my gosh, there's a mom in your town, like, you guys need to connect because you're like in this, babies are the same age, you're in the same journey, and like you live two doors down from, why haven't you guys, and I think that that's possible, right? The more we connect, the more we can just support each other, whether that be, in this format, or even out in the world. I think
Mhm.
whatever format you choose, right? Like you're saying, like, put yourself out there and just do it, because we're not supposed to do this alone. It's too
Right.
hard.
We're not meant to do it alone. And I joke a lot. I have people saved in my phone, and some of them are my dear, dear friends, and some of them are what I consider older acquaintances, but they're saved in my phone, like Amy CVS, Danielle Bagel Place. Like, I picked them up, right? I'm walking around with the stroller and I saw them and we connected. And it's okay if we became super close, and it's also okay if we didn't, but we had that in common. And, I knew that if my baby was screaming at me in the middle of the drugstore, that she would understand and give me a smile and, know that we were in it together.
Yeah. I love that. Amy, CVS. You'll always remember that. And that's cool. It's like we live in a world that, like, I mean, there's so much going on, right? And it's heavy. And I think we are all feeling that right now. So, like, that might make all the differences in the world, is to be that Amy at CVS, right? In line, getting your prescription, whatever, and just mom that, like, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did that the other day.
Hello.
At first, she thought I was creeping on her because it's like LA and everyone's like, we don't say hi to each other here. It's like, um,
Mhm.
and I just, yeah, made a couple comments or whatever, and she got really teary. And I was like, you can come join our village if you just need more people to vent about all these things. It's a lot. She's like, I know, I knew. It was all I could do to get out here just to the pharmacy. And it's like, I don't know if she'll come to class. I don't know, but giving her that option, giving her um just that
A
30 seconds.
friendly connection.
Yeah. So we need it from each other, even if, we all start out as strangers, right? So I think that's important. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us. You're just such a light and you do so much good in this world. And it's really cool to see someone take all their skills and, like, shove it into, like, where they are in their life, and to continue to, create change and, make space for, in particular now these mothers. Tell us where we can find you if we have any questions or concerns, or would love to connect with you. I know we're going to have all that info provided for everybody in the emails and links and stuff, but just to shout it out there to the world right now.
Well, thank you for having me. I feel the same. I'm so impressed with everything you've built and what you're offering to this large network. We are building the village, from here on out, and it's big and everyone is welcome. And if people want to reach me directly, they can visit my website. It's the Counselor spelled Laur for Lauren, counselor.com, also there on Instagram. And I am based in New York and happy to provide any kind of support, empowerment, and connection to women and moms that I can.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
You
Thank
too.
you for joining me. And I was like, oh yeah, it's good morning. I'm like, no, it's later. It's later there. Like dealing with all these people in different time zones is, a challenge. But thank you for being willing and jumping on and getting kids situated and all that. It's like it's a feat. It's a feat to like even carve out these tiny little sections. So I appreciate you giving of your time and your resources. And so if you have any questions, concerns, comments, Lauren's got you. We got you. And reach out to her. All the links are provided for you. And again, she's in that New York area. So if you need someone out there, reach out. She'd love to support you. All right. Thanks again, Lauren. We'll see you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.